Discover new opportunities together in a new Chevy. Meet up in an Equinox, winner of the J.D. Power Award for initial quality among compact SUVs. Lend a hand in the strong and capable Silverado, or mix it up in a high-tech Trax with an available 11-inch diagonal touchscreen. Find family, friends, and fun in the Chevy that's right for you. Click to learn more. Chevrolet, together let's drive. For J.D. Power 2023 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Foul Pole to Foul Pole podcast, brought to you by Black Diamond Softball and Fitness, presented by the Till Valhalla Project, where heroes live on forever.
All right, welcome back into the Foul Pole to Foul Pole podcast. This is Tyler with Black Diamond Softball and Fitness, and I've got a little bit different episode for you today. As many of you know, the softball season has kicked off, and we are in full swing, and it's been exciting so far. A lot of upsets, a lot of pitching dominance, if you will, and then there's been some controversy, and it's good to get into and talk to early in the season, especially when we're coming into the travel ball season, high school season, college season for that matter. I mean, this is a big topic when we get into travel ball games, and it's that drop dead time. It's like, how do you put a time limit on a game where there's X amount of outs? If it's a 5-inning game, a 7-inning game, there's outs that need to be made. But what if you start running up against a clock? We see it in pool play all the time, especially in travel ball. Pool play is a hour 15 drop dead, or hour 15 finished inning, hour 15 finished a batter. Could be even 60-minute games. So we're putting a clock on a game that we don't need a clock. We don't need a buzzer. We need to get the out. And of course, to speed up the process, we, implement a clock, and then here we are. A lot of you didn't know that in NCAA, there's also clock. There's time limits on these games, especially on getaway days. And getaway days are, a team will fly in for the weekend, have a weekend set, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they got to get back out of there to be at school Monday morning, or a tournament, or a game, or whatever they've got going on. They have a getaway day, which is usually a Sunday. Well, it happened in the Texas and Kentucky game. Earlier this past weekend, they had a scheduled first pitch at 12:30, and due to the scheduled flight, Kentucky had their drop dead time at 3:30. And you're thinking, okay, that's 3 hours. Got to be able to get a game in. Well, they implemented the drop dead time, and for lack of a better word, all hell broke loose. It was a great game. Texas had a lead going up until the fifth inning. It was 4-0 Texas. And then ultimately Kentucky started to come back. They tied the game up and ran through regulation at 4-4. And the top of the eighth, Kentucky scored 3 runs. So it gave them a 7-4 lead. It was the first time they led all game. And wouldn't you know it, the clock started to run short, because now we had made it into extras. There's different things going on. Well, anyway, it got to be about 15 or so minutes left into the game. If the drop dead time was reached before the 8th inning, then they'd revert back to the 7th inning, and they would end up calling the game a tie. And, that would be another situation, another crazy thing, just to say, hey, these two teams tied for whatever reason. Now, there is ties due to weather. They couldn't finish the game. It was a monsoon after the fact. The team was flying away that day, that kind of stuff. But the weather was great. They could have finished the game. So here we are. We are in the 8th inning. It's now 7-4 Kentucky. and Texas is back up to bat. So if you get back to kind of where Texas had scored their runs, it's the top of the seventh. Kentucky scored their 3. The Wildcats had a runner on first base. There was 2 outs. So Coach Mike White from Texas went to the circle to meet with his pitcher, Mac. And that meeting lasted probably a minute or so, give or take. He went back to the dugout, and then he came back out about 20 seconds later and actually made the pitching change. So he wasted some time there. He could have made the change when he went out first. Maybe he had second thought, whatever. Maybe he was wasting the time. I mean, you make your judgment there. Sophia Simpson, she ended up coming in. She took her warm-up pitches, and then, here we go. We're starting back up. She essentially only threw 3 pitches, and then she got to a 2-1 count with the runner was still on first base, advancing from first to third, of course, over those 3 pitches. So now you've got there's already been at least one coaches conference that's taken place because he did make the switch. So he goes back out there to talk to Sophia, of course, to waste some more time. Well, the first base umpire's like, no, wait a minute. You've already come out for your pitchers conference. If you come get her, if you come talk to her, you got to take her out. You're just wasting time, this and that. So on the very next pitch, believe it or not, Kentucky went ahead and stepped off the bag and was called out early to go ahead and end that half of the innings because they knew they needed to get through the bottom half of the inning for the game to end with them winning, to end of regulation, instead of letting the time expire and then we revert back. So that's the third out. They switch sides. Here we go. So now we have an official 8-inning game. This right here, we're going to finish this. We're going to run through the time limit right here. I mean, there's plenty of time to get him out. Gives himself a chance to go ahead and secure the win. So the bottom of the 8th started with about 8 minutes left before the drop dead time. So it was about 3:22. Drop dead time is 3:30. With the international tiebreaker rule in effect, you have the runner is going to start on second base, just as Kentucky did in the top half. So the first batter flies out to center field. Quick out. The runner didn't advance, so we still have a runner on second base. And then up comes Mia Scott at about 3:24 or so, give or take. We're literally down to 5 or 6 minutes here. So she took the first pitch, and she turns and she talks to the umpire for a second. It seems like she had something going on with her eyes, contact solution, maybe eye drop, something. It was breezy down in Clearwater. There was dust flying around all day, so you can say, okay, hey, yep, she needs some eye drops. So anyway, Mia Scott ends up walking that at bat, and so now we have the tying run come to the plate. Got a runner on first, got a runner on second. Got a runner, got the batter. Here we go. So believe it or not, during all this, Kentucky comes out. Rachel Lawson, she hurries up, runs out there real quick, talks to her pitcher, and just for a split second, and then boom, she's back in the dugout. Here we go. So we have Alyssa Washington at the plate. She's the tying run, and she takes her time getting to the plate because if the time runs out here, then the game reverts back to the 7th. Ball game's over, ends in a tie, and Kentucky flies home. Well, Stephanie Schooner is actually on the mound for Kentucky. She threw her first 2 pitches right down the middle, and then she wasted a pitch high, and then another one was fouled away. So at that point, Coach Mike White decided he needed a pinch runner at second base. Now remember, this game, this was in international tiebreaker rules. So that runner didn't reach on a hit or a walk or a hit by pitch or anything like that. She started it on second base. So she was the last out from the previous inning. She can be substituted for if they had reached base hit in a different way. So that's kind of hokey at that point. Do you subbing this player out, whatever. So Washington strikes out looking on the very next pitch. It was on the outside corner. It is what it is. Maybe it was close. Maybe it was a ball. Anyway, regardless, she strikes out. So now we got 2 on. We've got 2 out, and we have the tying run at the plate. Katie Samuse, I don't know exactly how we're saying her name, but so she comes up to the plate. To put it lightly, I mean, if this was in the playoffs, or if this was in a tournament, or if this was, man, wherever, I mean, this is what you want. You come to the plate, you're the tying run, runners on the ducks on the pond for you, and here you go. But it just doesn't seem like that's what she was up there to do. So with the now the count is 0-2. She's down to her last strike. Pressure's on. The crowd's going nuts. At that moment, Mike White says, "You know what? I need a pinch runner on first base." Has no faith in the girl that's up to the plate to tie the game organically. He decides to waste some more time and gets a pinch runner for first base. So by the time she was able to get out there, they're able to reset the game. Runners on first and second. 2 strikes, 2 outs. The time expires. So the game officially ends. A collegiate Division I, Power 5, regular season game runs out of time. We revert back to the 7th inning where the score was 4-4, and nothing that happened after the 7th inning counted. Nothing. So I have to say, is this something that we should look at and address? Is this something that NCAA can step in and say? Is this something that the conferences can come in and have a say? What can we do? I get it. Tournament ball, travel ball. We got to have a clock on the game. I understand that, to keep the pace of play. But we're talking about a Division I collegiate sport where we're running out of time and we can't complete it. And I understand the gamesmanship on Mike White's part. I would love to have him on the podcast to talk about it and get his mindset on it. I've read a couple different things, but it just, I mean, you're on national TV, and of course the commentators they're letting everyone know here that, hey, he's wasting time so he doesn't take the loss. He's going to get a tie if he can manipulate it enough to where the time runs out. So I don't know. I get why he did it. If it was me, I don't know what I would do in that situation. I know what I've done in travel ball games to kind of cook the clock a little bit. I remember being in Space Coast down in Florida, and it was one of those instances where the clock was running. We needed the clock to run out. There was and the pitcher got hit with a comebacker. There was an injury. U-trip rules, they stopped the clock because of the injury. So we had to make the switch. When does the clock start back up? When the athlete's taking her pitches to warm up, or does it start with the very first pitch? Texas Glory is trying to step off third because they understand it. They know what they're doing. They're trying to start a whole brand new inning. They're trying to step off to end the inning because they were down 2 or 3. Maybe the tying run at the plate. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly. But we've all been in those type of games where you've been on the side where, okay, do we go ahead and step off now so we can get to a new inning? Are we calling time? Are we wasting time in between pitches? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, we're all trying to game the game a little bit because of that time limit element is there. And I don't like it. I wish that we just take the time out. Like, you've got to get, if it's 7 innings, you've got to get your 21 outs. If it's 5, you got to get your 15 outs. But, with it being in the rule book and Mike White was able to use the rules to his advantage, it is what it is. So I'd love to have your thoughts on this. It's one of those things that I think it's a hot topic, and we're going to be talking about it the rest of the year, I'm sure, because if they're maybe on the outside looking in, if they would have took the loss, would that knock them out? Are they on the, right on the fringe of maybe hosting a region because they didn't take a loss, they got a tie? I mean, it's going to affect some things down the road. So be interesting to see. So let me know your thoughts. If you do like this type of stuff, please, send me a comment, like it, share it, whatever. But if you send it to a friend, make sure you tell them you love them.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.